Hello, everybody. How are we doing today on this little thunderstormy, rainy afternoon in Louisville, Kentucky? And when I got off work today, I got this jumbo iced honey bun, which I'm enjoying. But more namely, I got a Reese's peanut butter cup, which I already ate. I know it's a lot of sweets, but I was feeling sweet today after last night. And with the Reese's, it got me thinking. Reese's have two, I know it's like backwards or whatever, inverted, but they have two peanut butter cups. Everyone knows that. 2 cups in a regular sized, package. And it got me thinking, like, isn't it nice to have 2 things? Like, it's nice to have 2 cars. It's nice to have 2 TVs. It might be nice to have 2 laptops, 2 phones. I don't know, 2 girlfriends if you're into that. Not me, I'm just saying, like, if you're into that, that must be nice. And it must be nice to have 2 superstars. That's what the Boston Celtics are thinking. Must be nice. Because last night, at the end of that game, they didn't have 2. They didn't have 1. They had half. Jason Tatum counts as half because he was a shell of himself. And he just was a decoy, basically. But that's not acceptable, because if you're the best player, if you're the top 5 player that a lot of people think that you are, which in my opinion you aren't, but if that's who you are, then you got to power through that. He did it. I don't want to be too critical. We've all rolled ankles before. It just sucks really bad. It's hard to play through. But if you're that guy, that's all I'm saying. Moving on to Jaylen Brown. We're just going to talk about the Celtics players individually. Jaylen Brown. Me and my good friend, have been on this for about 1.5 years now. We don't like how this guy plays. Last year, it was his push-off with the off arm. It just, every time, it felt like he was pushing off. Now, it's the dumb turnovers, low basketball IQ play, which I simply still can't understand. It's just ironic. I'm not saying academic IQ translates to basketball IQ, but you got to admit, it is a little bit ironic that he's a 4.0 student coming out of Cal. I'm sure he's a great guy socially, and, with the media and stuff, he always says the right thing. Last night he said, I failed, we let down the city. He was right. He's not lying. He knows exactly what to say. But on the basketball court, doesn't it feel like it's like, what are you doing? Game 4 versus Philadelphia in the last round is a prime example. Have you ever hooped at the rec and, like, the other team needs a 3 to win, but if they make a 2, you're good, like, you're straight. You're not going to lose. And you got that dude who just helps for no reason off a good shooter. That's what Jaylen Brown essentially did. He left Harden wide open. Why? Like, why would you do that? What? And last night, it's just bad turnover, bad shot. Literally, it's like roulette. It's like roulette. Black is bad turnover. Red is a bad shot. And then the green 0 that you rarely get is like a made 3. Because he made 1 the whole game. I mean, gosh. Ugh. Disgusting performance. Marcus Smart. Why doesn't Marcus Smart guard Jimmy Butler the first, second, and third quarter? And then in the fourth quarter, when you're down 14, you're going to start getting up on him and playing good defense. Don't you think it's a little bit too late, pal? Why would you wait so long? It doesn't make sense. Al Horford, he's old anyways. He gave you 8 and 8. What else do you want from Al? That's all. Don't blame Al Horford. Derek White was the only one hooping. Him and Robert Williams showed up to play. Nobody else in that white and green Celtics uni came out to play. And that's just the fact of the situation. Even Brogdon, who I really like, Obviously, wasn't the same after that injury. It's still plaguing him, but he's a role player, so I'm fine with that. He's a great sixth man, though. He's actually more than a role player. So they just underachieved completely. It was kind of embarrassing, but let's talk about the Heat because the Heat deserve it. Speaking of the Heat, now that I think about it, I just thought about Kyle Lowry, and it just made me remember Kyle Lowry, if you remember, had that mid-range shot over Jaylen Brown, and it was a big jump shot. It was important. And Jaylen Brown, for whatever reason, sorry, I was getting a call. Jaylen Brown just decided, hey, I'm not going to jump to contest. I won't even, put my hand up and get up in him. I'll just kind of low-key let him shoot it. An NBA player, former All-Star, Game 7, at your crib. You're down, you need stops. Where is the energy? You know where I saw energy? From the Miami Heat when Gabe Vincent was pressing in the backcourt. Spoelstra's a genius. I just love everything he does. He got a tip. It didn't result in a Celtics turnover. The Celtics still inbounded the ball, and they may have scored on the possession. But just the grit, the grind that the Heat are all about, that's why they're the perfect basketball team. They just don't have enough talent, in my opinion, to beat a Nuggets team, but we'll save that for another video. The Heat, top to bottom, Pat Riley, okay, great executive. Spoelstra, great coach, multiple championships, multiple finals appearances with and without LeBron. And Jimmy Butler, and it's just like a flow chart. It gets instilled from Pat to Eric to Jimmy and Bam and all the others, and then it's all poking out, and you get random guys, right, who play well. Duncan Robinson gave you 10 very important points. Okay, Caleb Martin was really good. 26 points. He was good the whole series. Kevin Love was good in later series. In prior series, I should say. Max Strus hit a couple threes. Bam Adebayo, even though he didn't have his great offensive game, he played well and set the tone defensively. They just all play well. They just know how to play the game of basketball. Haywood Highsmith ripped Jason Tatum clean and got a layup. These are huge momentum swinging plays that the Celtics just did not have enough of. Therefore, disappointed. And, I don't want to hear anything about Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum anymore. Jaylen Brown should honestly be traded. I think most people agree with that. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work unless next year you get to the finals and win the championship because a bunch of the teams you played got injured. That's the only way the Celtics can win anything. They're not going to win against a well-coached, great team like the Miami Heat. They can't beat them. They just don't have the dog. The Heat have the dog. They got Jimmy. Jason Tatum's not that dog. Jaylen Brown's not good enough, and he's not that dog. So at the end of the day, this was kind of like an NFL game for me. The team with the best player, so best quarterback, right? Best player, we're using that analogy. Jimmy Butler, okay. Best coach, Spoelstra. Better front office, better executive, okay, Pat Riley. It's just a 3-0 sweep, and that's why they were up 3-0. Okay, the Celtics came back, and it just resulted in disappointment. What can you say, though? That's about the end of the video. I hope we'll get back to you guys we'll get back to you guys tomorrow or Thursday, and we'll talk about the NBA Finals preview. Until then, bless up, and have a good rest of your week.